Yo, what's poppin'? I am Jacques Slade, and this is the start of a new series I'll be putting up here on the channel. It's called 10 Sneakers You Forgot Existed. Why? Well, because with dozens of new sneakers dropping each week and even more showing up exclusively on the feet of athletes, celebrities, influencers, and media dorks like me, there's really no way you've been able to keep up with everything. So we're gonna take a look back at some notable kicks that you might not remember or haven't thought about in a long time. As always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more content on this channel, including unboxings, features, our weekly show Hard Pass, and much more. All right, let's start with the sneaker that has the rare distinction of having not one, but two unboxing videos on this channel. Number one, Nike LeBron 10 must be the honey. Wait, Jacques, you're probably thinking, how do you have two unboxings of the same sneaker on your channel and you don't even have a single Salomon trainer? I mean, what kind of sneakerhead are you, bro? I'm the type of sneakerhead who hasn't received a care package from Salomon. That's who. Anyways, so this sneaker is a collaboration between Nelly, General Mills, makers of Honey Nut Cheerios, and Clout. Yes, Clout with a K for those of you too young to remember. Clout was a service that determined how influential you were on social media. You even got a Clout score for your troubles. Personally, I don't remember what Clout score I had, but I was allegedly cool enough to receive one of the 250 must-be honey packages. What's a little crazy about this collab is that it's one that you could have totally done on your own back in 2013. Sure, the sneaker is the Nike LeBron 10, but they were not custom pairs made by someone like Mosh or a special colorway designed by Nike themselves. These Nike LeBron 10s were created on Nike ID, and if you really wanted to, you could have made your own Nike LeBron 10 must be the honey. Clout score can be damned. The only thing you wouldn't have were the special lace locks that featured Buzz, the Honey Nut Cheerios mascot, and the phrase must be the honey. Wild flex by General Mills to just outsource a sneaker in that way, but the partnership would continue a few years later in the form of a trio of sneakers from a former Nike signature athlete who we might talk about in this space on a future episode, so stay tuned. Number two, Brand Black J crossover. When it comes to hip hop, the late great MF Doom is who you might call your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. Now, Young Jeezy might have something to say about that, but we can have that discussion in a future video. If y'all want to hear about that from me, guy who can hold his own on the mic. But who do you think is your favorite hooper's favorite hooper? I'm not the betting type, but I will put a lot of money on the man they call J crossover, Jamal Crawford. Yes, he's a multiple-time 6th Man of the Year award winner with a cushy TNT job nowadays, but the lack of an all-star nod and the way he bounced around the league, even though he was a walking bucket, was downright disrespectful. I mean, he had 3 signature shoe runs in the mid-2010s with startup Brand Black that you might not remember. That's right, during his peak years in Los Angeles, Crawford joined Chris Paul as signature shoe athletes on the Clippers. Sorry, Blake Griffin, you were super fly in those Jordan Superflies though, even if they didn't count as signature shoes. The J crossovers designs were interesting to say the least. I think they would have had a better chance of succeeding in 2023 when there was such a premium being placed on sneakers with a high fashion look, but it's good to know that for a while there, one of our faves was getting the signature shoe love that he deserved. Number 3, Anthony Hamilton's one-of-one Air Jordan player exclusive collection. Okay, say you were cool enough to go on a trip with Michael Jordan to Mexico, and on that trip you were in a contest with Jordan brand athletes like Carmelo Anthony and Kawhi Leonard to design Air Jordans. What if you won said contest and the prize was you could have an entire run of Air Jordans from 1 to 23 in 2 colors of your choosing? What 2 colors would you choose? Well, you would have the conundrum that's faced Grammy Award-winning singer Anthony Hamilton. And what colors did he go with? Chocolate brown and white with gum soles. Maybe not the color combination I would have gone with, but they were certainly unique, and the result was a one-of-a-kind collection that apparently lives rent-free in friend of the program Matt Welty's head. Number 4, Adidas Kobe 3. So technically, there are 2 third iterations of the late Kobe Bryant's signature shoe run with Adidas. There's the KB83 that Mamba wore sparingly during the 90-2000 championship season. However, the tooling for the KB83 got a second run on the Yeezy 500, so calling them forgotten is a little bit of a stretch, I think. But the Kobe 3, that's a sneaker that got buried in the annals of sneaker history, and probably for good reason too. So, you know the legend of the Jordan 3, right? Michael Jordan was disenfranchised with Nike Nike after the Air Jordan 2 that he was contemplating a move to Adidas, and it took Tinker Hatfield and his design for the 3s to save the day. It's probably the whole story, but that's the legend as it's being told today. It's the Adidas Kobe 3, shown here in sample form, the bizarro version of that, where Bryant took one look at the third shoe and said, "Peace out, I'm going to have the greatest sneaker free agency season ever," and then sign with Nike. Well, we'll probably never know, but it is fun to think about if he actually said that. The Adidas Kobe 3 featured the same futuristic aesthetic as the previous 2 entries, and according to Soul Collector, it had an early version of the Hug lacing system that would be used on the Adidas T-Mac 4. 5. Sony PlayStation and Nike Special Force boot Killzone. When it comes to sneaker and video game crossovers, nobody does it better than Sony and Nike. They have been putting out banger after banger after banger for nearly 2 decades now. From the Air Force 1 to the PG2, sneakerheads are always looking out for the next chapter, except for one. That's because they're not so easy to find. I'm talking about the Nike Training and Sony PlayStation Move Friends and Family Pack. Created to celebrate the 15th anniversary of the PlayStation and the launch of both Killzone 3 and the PlayStation Move accessory, the pack consisted of the Zoom Huarache with Move branding and the special field boot that looked like something a Hellgast would wear. Not surprisingly, the Huarache is the more coveted of the two. Gilbert Arenas even wore them on the court when he was on the Grizzlies. The Killzone boots don't have that kind of moment. Maybe the WWE's Roman Reigns would have worn them once upon a time during his Shield days, but it wasn't meant to be. Anyways, the boots feature the memorable Hellgast on the side panels while their language is stitched on the collar, and their logo can be found on the tongue. Number 6, Lugz FMF1 driving shoe. It's hard to understate how big Funkmaster Flex was in the early 2000s. His signature bomb drop was on everything during that time, whether it was a hot track or a TV show about cars on Spike or a PlayStation 2 music game. You couldn't really escape Flex's reach even if you wanted to. And that included sneakers. Well, I guess technically boots, I guess. That's the more appropriate terminology. But nevertheless, 2003 introduced us to the FMF1 driving shoe, Funk Flex's signature driving shoe with lugs. Yes, the same lugs that was prominently featured in every Slam magazine or WWE Monday Night Raw from 2000 to 2004 actually released a driving shoe. There were even commercials for them like they were new Air Jordans. With 2000s nostalgia going strong right now, I wouldn't be surprised if Lugz drops a bomb on us this year and announces a retro for the 20th anniversary. You can only search for used pairs on eBay for so long before you actually give up on finding your size. Number 7, Avia 880. Okay, so this one might be a bit of a stretch, especially if you're tuned into the news that Avia is making a comeback of sorts. The brand was actually worn by Dream Teamers and Hall of Famers Scottie Pippen and Clyde Drexler in the late 80s and early 90s. Sadly, the Avia would fade into obscurity by the 90s, chugging along as a performance and lifestyle brand that you saw at discount shoe retailers. Nobody would really talk about Avia until the debut of the Louis Vuitton 408 trainers in 2018, designed by the late Virgil Abloh. It's fair to say that he drew inspiration from the 880, but we wouldn't get a proper retro of the 880 until now, when a reported 1,000 pairs are set to drop later this month. Could this be the beginning of a resurgence of the brand? Look, if Fila can come back with chunky dad shoes, why can't Avia with their super high tops? Number 8, Wayne Gretzky's LA Gear street hockey shoes. Wait, they made street hockey shoes? Huh, never knew that was a thing, but hey, here they are. LA Gear street hockey shoes. And who else better to sell them than the one hockey player that even the most casual of sports fans would know? Wayne Gretzky. Paulina's dad even starred in a classic commercial featuring a totally realistic scenario where 2 brothers somewhere in LA probably are playing street hockey. The best part is not only did it feature the great one, but we also got Brett Hull and Mark Messier, who had their own LA Gear signature street hockey shoes as well. Number 9, John Cena's Kmart Never Give Up shoes. Cena might be headed to WrestleMania wearing APL tech looms against a younger version of himself in Austin Theory, but if I were the man many people under the age of 30 consider the GOAT, I would bring back a classic. Okay, maybe calling any pair of sneakers less than a decade a classic is a little facetious, but it says it on the shoes themselves. Never give up. So I'm never giving up hope that Mr. Hustle loyalty and respect will break out these sneakers the WWE sold at Kmart as a nod to the era when even the most diehard of Cena haters were starting to turn around and appreciate him for putting on killer matches on a weekly basis as part of his US Open challenges. I just hope I can see them. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. What? We are all contractually obligated to make a John Cena "you can't see me" joke at least once in our lives. Number 10, Billy Ray Bates Crosby's black Supermans. Former Portland Trailblazer guard Billy Ray Bates was a legend. Yeah, he was an entertaining player for the brief time he was in the NBA during the late 70s and early 80s, but where he made his mark was overseas, playing in the Philippine Basketball Association. As a PBA import, he won 3 championships and averaged a whopping 46.2 points in 98 career games. His nickname in the Philippines? Black Superman, because of course it was Black Superman. It was the 80s, people. He was so charismatic and entertaining, and unlike anything that had been seen before in the PBA, he actually earned a signature shoe deal with Crosby, who was at the time the PBA's official shoemaker. The name of the shoes? The Crosby Black Supermans, of course. The version that Bates wore even had the Superman logo on the side panels and ankle strap. I doubt DC Comics approved the usage of their iconography that way, but whatever, it's Black Superman. The shoes would receive a retro in 2014, and for a very specific generation of PBA fans, those might as well be Air Jordan 1s. Here's hoping Crosby is considering another retro run soon. All right, well, hope you guys enjoyed this trip down memory lane, or if you've never heard of these kicks, my job is done. Be sure to check out our other videos on this channel. Let me know what you think about these new videos we're trying here. I'm Jacques Slade, and I'll see you next time. Peace.